Hello, folks. I'm OdinSpack, and welcome back to 33 years and counting of my favorite games. Today is part 34, the year 1989. We've now reached the and counting portion of this series, as we've done 33 years so far. This would be the 34th year we've covered. But it's also my birth year, and I'm not actually 34. Again, time's really weird in that. It all makes sense in the end. But yeah, we are in the 80s. We're going to be seeing a lot of NES stuff. That's really, you know, most of what I played in the 80s. There's technically some other stuff too, but I don't think it'll actually be appearing on this list. Um, just for the sake of how many years I'm going to be covering. For the record, we're only going up to 1987, so this is the third last video. There's only two more videos after this. So let's get going into the honorable mentions for 1989, starting with Legacy of the Wizard on the NES. I'm saying that because it's not all NES this year. there is one exception. But Legacy of the Wizard is, I didn't realize, is part of the same Dragon Slayer series that Fexanadu is, or Fazanadu, whatever you want to pronounce it. And I didn't know that growing up. That has nothing to do with why I like this game or anything like that. But it is like kind of related. It's kind of related. But this one is like it's a platformer. It's a platformer, but I guess it is like a Metroidvania because you control different characters that each have their own abilities, but you also unlock abilities with them through items that allow you to access other parts of like the big sprawling dungeon that is the game. So I guess it is like a Metroidvania. But it's really cool. So you control this family that each have, like I said, they each have their own powers. Like the girl can jump really high, and the dad is like really strong. The mom's like a witch who has like magic powers. Like I think she can float, and she has a key that can open a bunch of stuff. There's a monster that like is like the family pet, and he's like not affected by bad guys. And then there is the boy who's like the hero who really doesn't have his own thing, but he's required to finish the game basically. After you do like the other four characters like dungeons or sections of the dungeon, then you have to go into the hero's dungeon at the end. And well, it's kind of like the whole game. It's really cool. I don't want to spoil like too much, but like it's really neat how it's done. I got like really far back when I originally played this. I was emulating it, and I got all the way to the end boss, and I think the emulator couldn't like show the projectiles of the boss, so I couldn't beat it, which is a real shame because it would be nice to say, oh yeah, I finished this game, but unfortunately I haven't. So. But I really did enjoy. I got really far, and I really love the music of this game. It's really catchy, even though it's kind of repetitive. It's not, some of the songs aren't like terribly long, but it is catchy. My other honorable mention is going to go to Tetris on the Game Boy. 1989 is the launch of the Game Boy, at least in North America. I think it is in general, unless it's 1988 in Japan, but for sure Tetris came out in 1989 in North America, not long after I was born, actually. And you know, Tetris is a phenomenon. I don't really need to explain to you Tetris. For those who might somehow not know what Tetris is, it's a puzzle game where blocks fall down and you're trying to basically put them in a line. And as you make them perfectly in a line, they clear, so you have more space to work with, and you're just trying to survive the entire time. The game gets faster and faster and faster, and I just got drowned out by the sun. I don't know what just happened there. Anyway, um, so like that's Tetris. You know, it's got a really catchy theme. One of the most well-known themes. You know, even people who don't really play video games probably know the Tetris theme. Uh, and it's just a really addictive game. It's been remade in so many ways, but you know, I grew up playing the Game Boy version. It's the one I've probably played the most. Uh, maybe Tetris 99. Maybe I've played a little bit more now, but I'll always have a soft spot for Tetris. It's a fun game. All right, that's gonna bring us to the top three for 1989, starting with my bronze medal, which is gonna go to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES. I will just say the top three are all NES, so I guess I don't really need to say that anymore. This one is hit or miss for people. Either you love this game or you hate this game. I feel like there is no in between on this. I'm of the love camp because I just really think that it really is a fun platformer. Is it difficult? Yes, it's very difficult. But I grew up playing games of that nature that were just really hard. You just kind of got used to it. And even though I never beat this game growing up, I did eventually beat it as I got older. I think after I started doing Let's Plays is when I started. I actually finished this game. I don't think it was before. So sometime in my 20s, I think I beat this game officially for the first time. And it's on the Cowabunga collection now, which I recently played through and beat it on as well because I love the game. Like I said, it is a straightforward platformer. Some of the Ninja Turtles are built differently than others. Donatello definitely can carry you through that game. And it gets a lot more cryptic and maze-like as you go. Some of the difficulty is kind of unfair. Some of the things they expect you to do, you just kind of have to take damage, like you just do. What is going on with this? I can't. The sun is killing me right now. Am I gonna have to do this while we're live? I guess so. That seems really weird, but all right, there we go. Put that on auto. I'm getting drowned out here. All right. Let's keep going. I don't think I really have much more to say on Ninja Turtles. Like I said, it's really difficult. The final level is insane, and the end boss is really easy. So once you get to the final boss, then you can feel good because you've probably beaten the game at that point. All right. My silver medal is going to go to Mega Man 2. So I don't care too much for the original Mega Man. I think it's okay, but I think it's kind of unfairly difficult, and there's just spots in it that I don't care much for. The reason I'm saying that is because Mega Man 2, Mega Man 2 is the one I grew up with. We rented it a bunch, emulated it a bunch, and then eventually I got it later on like the anniversary collection on GameCube. Like this Mega Man 2, I know a lot of people feel like, oh, well, this is the overrated one. Why do people like this one so much? I think it's like accessibility to like the levels in general. Like I think like the main part of the game when you're fighting the 8 robot masters, I think is like the best part of the game. Like the Dr. Wily stages I feel like are probably its weakest aspect, even though the music's great. But I feel like just the 8 levels before that, and you can really approach them in any order too. I mean, obviously, they all have weaknesses and whatnot, but I really feel like you can do them any way you want, and they're all like really fun, except maybe Heat Man. Except maybe Heat Man stage is pretty rough. But I think just everything's kind of well designed on that aspect. The themes are bopping. The weapons are really cool. The Metal Blade, overpowered, but makes you feel really good. Honestly, I think that's just kind of why I like Mega Man 2 so much, is just playing through that beginning part of the game. And then when you get to some of those Dr. Wily bosses, it's like, oof. But other than that, I think it's great. So I really like the game a lot. I think its simplicity is really nice too. Later games added like the slide and the charge shot, which are fine. The games are designed around that, but I think there's nothing wrong with the simplicity of Mega Man 2, and I think that's why they brought it back like that in Mega Man 9 and 10, just to kind of keep that simplicity, because they knew people liked Mega Man 2 so much. So there you go. There's why I like Mega Man 2. My gold medal for 1989 is going to go to Faxanadu, which I mentioned earlier in this video. Did you realize it came out this year? Faxanadu the easiest way to describe it, that's probably false, is it's a better Zelda 2. Um, I know it's a really weird way to like kind of like, oh, that's what this game is about. But it's an RPG platformer, which that game is. But this one leans more into the RPG elements where like you level up and you get gold and you buy equipment. Even though the leveling up in this game is really just glorified password systems, there are things it does. Um, but it's so like not important really that leveling up's not like a huge deal. Um, it actually makes one of your items worse as you level up, but and you get the trade off is you get to accelerate faster. This game has a really weird movement system where as you walk, you're like a car and you start accelerating, and as you level up, that acceleration is faster. So and it's really strange. It's kind of hard to describe without playing Fact Xanadu, but it's got a really cool story where a like a plague has fallen over the world tree where the elves are all like basically suffering now. And like the dwarves who they were kind of like rough in relations with are now all like mutated in that from this like weird meteorite, and all the water is now dried up. So you're trying to figure out like what happened, trying to cure everything. You're trying to get the water back, and you go through like four main areas of the game, basically going up the world tree, eventually going into the dwarven kingdom at the end, and it's just really cool. You have to like talk to NPCs and stuff to kind of get a grasp for what's really going on in the story as you go. So you can avoid a lot of that if you really wanted to. Um, but I think it's just really neat how the game is paced out. It's really fun going into the different dungeons of the game. A lot of it is optional. But if you don't know what you're doing on a first playthrough, a casual playthrough, it's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, this game has a really weird bug in it involving one of the items, but there's a chance you might not even pick up that item, and you'll have a better time playing it. But even if you do, it's not like the end of the world. Um, I just think it's a really neat game. I love all the different monsters and stuff through it. There's like a huge variety of them. It's a really challenging playthrough. Really satisfying to beat. It's got some really memorable music. I really love the dungeon theme of this game. I really love the first world theme. I think that's a pretty well-known one if you've ever heard of the game. Um, so it's just a blast. Definitely check it out if you're looking for like a platformer that has RPG elements to it. If you played Zelda 2 and you like Zelda 2, give it a shot. If you've played Zelda 2 and you don't like Zelda 2, still give it a shot because you might be like, okay, I like this a bit more. It's like it's of that nature, or like Castlevania 2, which is like an RPG platformer. That I don't know. I think they just got it right with this game. Um, and I'm sure there's nostalgia plays a huge part. This is one of those games that I got growing up, um, which is weird that it came out like the year I was born anyway. But it is one of those games that I eventually got for Christmas. I remember I actually got this game for Christmas after the NES was handed down to me, so I was probably pretty young. But I'm glad I did because who knows where I'd be now? This was the second Let's Play I ever did, so you know maybe my second Let's Play would have been some other weird game if I if I never got this. So anyway, that's it. That's 1989. Two more videos to go. So I've been OdinSpack, and I'll see you next time for 1989 or 1988. So until then, take care and goodbye.